So, as we've said 100 times before, Overwatch is a game of space, but it is also a game of lanes, which you also all know. This is the... Which one is this? Hybrid? Yeah. This is going to be the hybrid video. Oh. Damn. I'm ready for bed. So this is Eichenwald, obviously, right? We went over this in VOD review already, so I'm not too worried about this map, but 1, 2, 3, right? We talked about this before, very simple. Generally, on attacking, you want to isolate a lane and go for a quick rotate. A common one is to run under the bridge close and take this mini room, but this can be really hard to do. You could also, with Symmetra, walk into left room here and then TP either close on this rubble or back over here and then flip the map. Or you come in here and you do this, or you go all the way around and you take this high ground. Both are very good options. With a Mei or a Symmetra, you could also stand here or stand here if it's a Mei, and then come up on the bridge and take the mini room this way, which is a much safer way to take this lane. And then from there, you can either push out and play the pillar, or you can push out and play the mini and flip the map again. A lot of options for first point. Defending wise, it's really important to play together, where you don't not play together like on top of each other, but don't, have one person here and 4 people here. Not a reference to anything, I promise. But no, realistically, you'll want to put people. If you have a Mei, you can play close in the choke, right? You can have like 2 people standing here. Someone plays and mans this health pack. Venture is really strong on this first point, defensively at least, because they're really good at controlling small rooms, small like thin lanes, and we'll come back to that again when we go over Midtown. Venture is very strong on that map as well. So, being good at Venture will be important. Let's remember this, guys. Anyways, yeah. So you'll have 2 people playing here, and then usually you'll have your supports, like an Honor or a Kyrie playing like back here, like behind this rubble, for a good poke, or over here by this rubble, just to have a good angle. Either way, either one is fine. Playing on this rubble's a little easier to support your team without forcing them to walk out, but if your tank wants to play aggro in this corner, you can still stand here and it's okay. But, obviously tell them to back up if it gets a little too bad. But, first point's not too bad. Attacking second point, there's a couple options. Personally, I like coming over here and taking this mini room and then attacking the bridge this way, but you can also walk safely here and then up the staircase, or underneath through the door and then up the staircase. But big rule of thumb is don't just sit on the cart. You have to take a fight for high ground, or you're just going to lose. Right? This high ground, this is very oppressive, right? If you watch the control before this, space around the point is more important than the point itself, right? And this still applies in the other game modes, right? So you kind of want to understand that this high ground's really strong, and you need to take it. And the best ways to take it are, again, path of least resistance. Wherever they're not standing is the rotate you want to take, right? So if they're stacked really heavy on the bridge right here, you probably don't want to force this and take a fight in a small room. Usually don't want that. So instead, you can go underneath, or you can go here and then fight them, like force them to come to you. Or you could take like a split push. You can go from multiple angles. You can go through, flip the map, and fight them on even ground. Like, there's a lot that you can do here. So just don't get too stuck on one comp or one fight. Like, don't keep doing the same thing. Right? And then defending this point, really important. If you don't get staggered on this first point and you all get good spawn, if you walk fast enough, you can get through this door, right? This is a very important concept. If you're not going to pay attention to anything at all, pay attention to this. You go through the door and you fight. It's called fighting before the door, the big door that opens here, right? When the payload comes here, it stops when it reaches this door. It stops for like 10-ish seconds, 10, 15, maybe 15 is too long. That doesn't matter. But the payload comes here and it stops when it hits this door. But it only plays this door opening animation when it gets here. So the idea is that you fight before the door animation, right? And you're not looking to win this fight. Obviously, you're looking to win every fight, but the goal is not to kill them and wipe them here and get a spawn hold. The goal is to waste as much time as possible, to burn, like, literally you just want to survive as long as you can and keep this contested for as long as you can, because this is effectively a free fight. So every second you're burning off the clock, you're getting for free. Because the difference is if you had just like sat here on high ground and waited for the door to open, or sat here on low ground for some reason and waited for the door to open, it would be like you're taking the fight, like the amount of time this door takes to open is the same amount of time it takes for you guys to get wiped and then walk back from spawn and stand on high ground. So you're effectively giving yourself a free fight. It's the same idea behind the Havana spawn hold, which we will talk about later, where most people post up here on Havana. But if you fight in their spawn, right, if you fight in this area and force them to never move the cart, by the time you respawn and get back, like, the cart will end up in the same spot it would have been had you just sat here and fought. So you're effectively you're finding ways to burn free time off the clock. And that's really important on payload maps, is managing your time. So now you've rounded the corner. You've won this fight, right? And now the cart is here. We went over this. One person should be here. The rest of the team should be playing this door or this door, depending on where the enemies are. Usually you'll have like 3 here and then one kind of playing in the middle, listening for if they walk here, right? But the idea is we want to you want to burn resources and then get out. Like, you don't want to stay here and die, but the idea is to pressure them back, and again, by the time they walk out, and then you back up, right? So you are playing effectively as 4 here, and then once they show pressure as 5, right? Because as we all know, 5 is greater than 4, right? Once they walk out as 5, you're going to back up, right? And the cart's going to be here already. And your one guy's going to be here. And now, you're 5 on 5. And these are the same number, which means you have a 50-50, which is still good. It's better than losing, and you've put it into last fight territory, which means burning ults is fine. Like, if you just want to rip ults, and honestly, even in the 4v5, if you just want to rip ults to prevent a touch, that's also fine. But you're just kind of, you're looking to take space and to deny a contest, really, is the main idea of taking this fight here. And when you're on defense, I would suggest you want to put pressure on both sides is the best way to stop this, right? So you have like 2 here and 3 here, right? You want people walking out both sides. So then even if there's 4 people here, even if there is 4 people here, right? Sure, they could commit and try to run this over, but then realistically, you're going to swing, probably get 1, and then they're either going to have to full commit to a 3v3, which then leaves the cart. Jesus. You leave the cart as a 2v1, right? And they can just go here and take this, and then that's free, and then they don't cap the point, right? Or they turn around and disengage from the 3 and go back to help their person on cart, right? So then instead, go back, right? They back up here, and now they're 5, and this just, again, gives you a 5v5, but now you have the agency, right? You have, like, all of this space, which is good. You have more space than them, right? And you have more options to do whatever it is that you have to do, right? So just kind of on offense, you want to look to deny as much space as you can and as fast as you can do it. You want to be very aggressive. And on defense, you want to take as many angles as you can in order to punish aggressive play, right? And now, I do also want to go over this. Say you are playing aggressively here. Like, the whole idea of having one here and three here, where one person's playing a little split, is so that you hear these two people in case they know how to play Overwatch, right? They understand they need to split here, right? Like, they hear this, and then, like, you guys can back up and have a chance, like, at, like, playing this pillar and whatnot, right? So, just kind of things to look out for. Again, if any of this doesn't make sense, feel free to reach out. Okay. Now, real quick, let's go over third points for attacking and defending. So, all right. Any, anyways, so when swinging this first corner, like we're gonna divide this into two like halves, right? So you have the first and the second half, right? We'll leave that line there. So when you're attacking, right, the payload is like here. Okay. Um, Usually your hit scan player will come up here, pat this way, and play like this line right here because this is a very oppressive sight line that just lets you see everything, and it's very good, right? So if you're a hit scan player, come here. This is good. This is a good place to be. You'll get a lot of value. Have a good time, right? The rest of your team. So realistically, you only need one person on card here, right? And the other two, there's a concept of it's called get off the corner. So when you swing a corner, right, you have your tank, or not even really, you have your front line and your back line, right? And when you swing a corner, right, the front lines will clash and they'll kind of ignore each other almost. And the idea is whoever can get to the other team's back line first will win, right? And that's another reason that taking this angle is good, because this puts yourself as the hit scan player far away from this trade, which is already good for yourself and your team because you're living and you're getting value, right? So the idea when you swing a corner, if you're the front line, you want to be close to the corner because it gives you like a closer like less distance to cover backline sooner. And if you are the backline players, you want to play kind of either back here, right, or over here, depending on whether you're the person on the cart or the person playing off the cart. Because you being far away is good. That's why, like, when you play Ana, right, like a good place to hold on defense is up here because you can see everything and you're fucking miles from anything that can hurt you, right? So just, try to be aware of staying off the corner when you are a backline player, and when you're the front line, you want to just you want to be close to the corner when you're swinging so that you have less distance to clear. Right? That's a pretty simple concept, and that's kind of how I want to see you guys take this first fight, is spacing yourself from the front line and front line playing close to the corner. Right, so there's that. And now, let's see. The payload is here. We're in last fight territory, and you are attacking, right? Oh, you know what? Actually, I guess real quick, we can do this. I kind of briefly said it with the Ana part, but, you know, it's the same kind of vibe where your front line will play kind of on this staircase, and as the cart rounds the corner, the line kind of moves a little bit to here, and you want to play this, this little corner right here is like the front line safe haven, where you can't die. And then the back line can play here, or here, or here, like anywhere where you can still see your tank, and give them agency to swing. That's kind of what you want to do. That's why these two are pretty good, and this is like a little less good, just because it gives your tank more agency to move around. Right? Or not your tank, your front line, sorry. So you just kind of want to look to put yourself in a position where you are safe and you are able to support your tank or your front line wherever they're going. Right? And also play natural cover if you're the front line. Don't just take meaningless damage and feed. That's bad. Anyways, front line is here, right? And or the payload is here, right? You as the attacking team, you're just coming off a win. You want to play into their spawn fast. Like you want to look, you want to. I mean, this is like 3-on distance, but like, say the cart is like here, you're not gonna full cap before they get back. So again, you want to leave one person here, and then you want to send 4 people, and just like barrage their spawn, right? Like you take this area here, like you want to be suffocating. Like don't let them walk out at all. And then no matter what, you're putting the cart into last fight territory, right? So the idea when you're on offense is just to like fight early and fight fast, you know what I mean? Like, and then when they show pressure, you back up, right? This is the like backing up to go forward, right? You're backing up to move the objective forward, right? Because by the time you've backed up, you're gonna walk into the cart because it's already here, and then you just take a fight from there. When you're on defense, to avoid getting punished by this, don't walk out alone. Really, is the only thing you can do. When you walk out as 5 into one door, like I mean, 5 is greater than 4, right? Don't walk out by yourself. Don't like stagger and die, and you should be okay. So let's move on to Blizzard World, the next hybrid map. Now, again, we see our 1, 2, 3 kind of vibes. Path to here, path down main, or path up top. Right? And main kind of splits off into 2 things, unless you want to go here from here, but I digress. So, when attacking really any point with high ground, kind of rule of thumb, push the high ground. Right? Like, this is kind of where you want to be, pretty much always. With a Symmetra, you can kind of bypass this by pushing up, playing behind the pillar, and then TPing right to point, and then you force them to drop, right? Like, this is one of those scenarios where you can force point as 5, but, you know, it's also kind of really hard to stop this high ground from being oppressive when you're on point, so sometimes it's good for your hit scan player to come up here and control this high ground if you never played for this area over here by the little rail, whatever this thing is. So just important things to think about really is be aware of high grounds and how oppressive they can be, right? Like this backup point 1's very strong, and this can be very strong in like the beginning. So you're kind of going to need speed to fight this. Speed or Symmetra, preferably both. But You know, big ideas here really is just to, when you walk out main, I would tuck behind the pillar and then walk up the stairs and make sure you're walking together, right? Like don't give anybody an opportunity to pick one of you off because you're late to the fight or anything. You know, like kind of just like be sure you're fighting together and you're fighting for the right areas. But Blizzard World first point's really simple, even if it can feel really miserable sometimes. If you just walk as 5 up the staircase, I mean that's pretty much it. From this high ground, you have a lot of options. You can either go down and fight here, or go over here, or you could split. You know, you could also, if you have speed and they kind of back up, you can chase with a pick. You can go underneath and go behind if you're like a tracer or some kind of flanker, and you could do a little pincer kind of vibe. But first point, Blizzard World, very simple. Second point is a little different. So here, I mean, again, one on cart is usually the vibes, and then you take high ground. So attacking this, you really want to look for opportunities to take the opposing team's high ground. Because if you cut this in half, right, the enemy team's over here in blue, your team is in pink. I'll get rid of this line. Right, your team is here in pink. Right, your goal is to take their half. Right, it's like kind of like a turf war. You know what I mean? And you do that by kind of just carving it up. Right, like you take here, and then like you take this bridge, and then now you have all this, and then you just continue pushing from there. Again, you want to be very oppressive. You want to be very like smothering. Like don't give them any chance to like breathe or get out, and don't give them any chance to like take space from you. But again, attacking is very simple in Overwatch. It really is just, it comes down to playing your angles right and, you know, making the right decisions and standing in the right places. You know, obviously you don't want to take a 5-on-4, right? Because you do have somebody on cart who is below you and not doing much. So, you know, you don't want to take a 5v4, really, ever. There's almost never a situation where this is good, like taking an actual fight as 5-on-4. But if you can kind of like force out some resources and then back up, maybe like you could flip the map, or you could come over here, or like get your hit scan player in a good position to like get a nice angle, or you could rotate all the way around, play underneath, like force one to drop and then pick that. Like you have a lot of options. So that's why you put yourself in these positions, is to give yourself options. Because I can sit here and talk all day, but I can't tell you what to do on game day in the moment. That is up to you to make that decision and make that split second decision. All I can do is prepare you to put yourself in the position to give yourself the most options, and I can only hope that you make the right choice, right? And like I'd rather you not be forced into a bad choice because you decided to walk 5 low ground, right? There's now 5 of you here, and then there's 5 of them above you, and suddenly you're getting blasted from above from 3 angles and you don't know what to do, right? That's kind of the whole idea behind this. So let's move on to third points. So now the cart is here, right? One person's on cart. And if you played this map before, you know this high ground here with certain snipers can be really annoying. Right, so if you have, say, like a diva or a monkey or a ball, it's very good to pressure this high ground and to take care of it. This area as well, another important part that you probably want to take away. This high ground, very annoying to deal with, especially as like if you're a DPS or a support. You know, like fighting somebody who is above you is always bad, always sucks. We all know this, right? Very simple. Early on, controlling this health pack room over here can also be pretty important, but this becomes kind of negligible once you round this corner. So don't worry about it too much. I would much rather you worry about the high grounds here. Anyways, as you walk up, you know, we talked about the corner, right? Front line, back line. Again, you want to be, Jesus, back line, thank you. You want to be far from the corner, right? Because, you know, their front line is looking to trade backlines, and if you're close, he gets there and he kills you, right? And if they're back here, your front line just dies because there's no one to trade, right? So that's kind of where playing this health pack room can come in handy, because you can sit, if you have control of this, you have control of this below area here, and your backline can be here, or your backline can be in this door, or like backline can be here, right? And then even if the enemies are here and their front line's here, you still, like, a stalemate is good for you here because you're pushing the cart. And then once they're on the cart, right, you can kind of kite a little bit and then force their front line to walk in, or you could commit off like an anti-nade or like an ash dynamite, something like that. And you kind of just want to be looking for an opening, or looking for like maybe like your flanker to come around here and pressure this backline, or force them to play closer, which then allows you to trade. You know what I mean? Right? If their backline's forced here, that's good for you. Like, even if you're not getting value on a flank, like by killing people, you're getting value by forcing them to move somewhere else. Or if the backline moves, like if the backline's forced here, suddenly they have no LOS, which means their front line will also die. So, good thing to think about. And you can kind of just like move this philosophy and like rotate it a little bit, where your front line, like once you're in last fight, your front line will be here, and your back line can play like up on this line, or back here, or even like here if they feel a little spicy, or really, if you're feeling very fancy, you could play here. Not super recommended, but I mean, like a Kiriko taking an off angle here and like taking shots can be very good, right? And then like their front line will be here, and then usually, realistically, their back line can be here, or it can be like here. And back in this corner, again, same problem with the LOS, where it's really hard for them to help. And here, this is very, very tradable right here, right? So just kind of look to punish when they have less space than you, and make sure you're taking space, right? So again, like quick last little thing, important spaces, this high ground, this, like all of this, like around the path, very important, right? And like this flank can also be good as well, like over here. Pretty much everything that's not where the payload will be, very important space. So when you're trying to retake this after a lost fight, you want to look to surround. You want to look to surround and pinch rather than just kind of stand on cart and do nothing. That's really like an overarching theme, is you don't want to like just run it down. You very much just want to take advantage of angles and slowly like squeeze the enemy into a box until you can kill them, until you can trade, basically. So I don't have a cool map for I don't have a cool thing for Havana, so we're just in game. Now this is very easy. Whoops. Where is my... Oh, I need to switch to wireless windowed. There we go. Anyways. So, whoops. Let's do a little bit of this. So, 1, 2, 3. 3 lanes. We're all familiar. We've done this 100 times. Now let's look from this angle. Okay. So usually your front line will be like right around here, and then your back line will either play on these stairs, right, or they will play up in that window there, right, like whoops, make this window here, right, and they can kind of like shoot down, get a little extra pressure. But also on this map, it is very important to control this alleyway. This alleyway is where your flex DPS will reside usually, and it is where this first point is usually decided, right? Because, as you can see, like you path around here as an attacker, and then you have a lot of options. You can come here and join the fight. You go all the way around, right? And from in that building, you could either path up and do like this, or you can go underneath and then join the fight from this angle, or go all the way around, right? And you're kind of just being a nuisance, really. So I said earlier that Venture is also good on this map because Venture is very, very good at marking this alleyway. Just because, you know, they are very good in like thin lines, and this is literally like heaven for a Venture player. Right, so again, just kind of thinking about controlling lanes and controlling space. You know, trading like you want to take as little damage as possible. So like you want to stand like behind this or like here if you're the front lines. So then you don't like the idea of how to win a game is to have more resources, right? You have more space, you have more resources, right? And you can live longer and then you can win. So taking less damage means your team has more resources, right? Doing more damage means their team has less resources. So if you can do both of those things at the same time, you'll win the game. Shocking, I know. Right? So I mean, positionally, really, you just kind of like if you're the back line, you want to play again. This is another corner, right? If you're the back line, you want to play off the corner. If you're the front line, you want to play close to the corner. I mean, it seems really self-explanatory, but you'd be surprised. So. This first point, again, very easy. If you're attacking, it's kind of just the same but in reverse. You know, you want to find a way to let your flanker through here. Like if they're not marking this, and you're a flanker, you're a flex DPS, you want to take this angle. Like even like a hit scan could take this angle, and then it's just kind of free. Like you're seeing like the whole map. So don't underestimate that. I also like to, if you have speed, you can walk kind of across, use this pillar, and then speed through here, and then you take this mega room as a team, and you fight out of here. This gives you a lot of options. You can either walk out here and force point, you can walk out this door and take a fight, or you could go up, and then you have either a window or a window, right? This gives you literally 4 options on how to fight this. Even though you're kind of putting yourself into a room, it's a room with a lot of exits, and it leaves the enemy with like they're uncertain of which way you can go. Like they have to respect each way, because if they commit to one, right? Like if they run in to chase you here or stand here to block you out, right? Like let's say here, let's say they chase you in here, you just go to point, and then they have to come to you, right? Which gives you, right? This gives you a choke point to hold, and then another one, and you can just kind of like bolster your defenses. This is good times, right? You want to be in this position. Or say they decide, okay, we're gonna go to point. Then you go, okay, and you walk up top, and then you shoot them. Or you drop this way and you take a rotate around the fire truck, and then it's good times because now you just have like a fight and you've gotten through a really oppressive chokehold. And even if you don't win, at the very least, now you understand, okay, we can do this. Or now they have to respect this and split, and their chokehold becomes a little less oppressive, right? And you can maybe go through the train if you have to. And you can take advantage of so many angles, and that's kind of the point I want to get across, right? Especially for maps like this. And then this, again, very simple. When you're attacking, you go this way, right? You fight for the high ground. When you're defending, you stand here, right? You don't let them get to this high ground, right? I mean, there's kind of a few ways you can attack this high ground, where you can path behind and then come here through these stairs, or you can fight the close stairs, right? I mean, if you have a SIG, you can maybe just sit on cart and wait till it goes under and force them to drop. Like, it's very situational, because if there's 5 people here, you shouldn't take a face check, because again, 4 is less than 5. We know this, we've had this conversation. So I mean, you can just kind of bunker on point depending on what your comp is. If you're playing dive, I mean, I would go up here, do like a little like as the tank, right? Go up here, do a little displacement, like kind of let your team have like a little breathing room. And you know, if you're a DPS player, like if you're the hit scan, you can come like up here as a sojourn, or like kind of take like this angle over here as like a cast or a soldier, and then you know you have a better angle to be able to survive and to be able to do damage, which is your job, right? But again, this is pretty simple. you know, taking high grounds and all this. Very important, very good way to win. Here, on this, oops, on this final corner here, I mean, it's a corner, right? So let's go back to the same thing. Front line, right? Their back line's here, or here, right? Because this is, wait, wrong color. Hold on. Right, their back line's playing on this staircase, or on this wall, or over here by the little staircase. Your back line is on high ground, or in this door, or back here, or down here. Right, and the idea kind of, at this point, the front lines are going to be in a bit of a stalemate. So I would like to see on attack, I would like to see one of my DPS players come through this door and look for an off angle, or come this way, like around the bus, and look for an off angle in order to hit this little area here, right? And that is entirely dependent on where they're playing, right? So, you know, noticing what's going on currently and being able to adapt on the fly and just being ready for that, right? And then as you come to third, this point can feel a little miserable sometimes, but this point can feel a bit miserable at times. So as you know, I would say like you would send 2 up here to play this high ground for the first fight, and then the rest of your team, kind of like your front line, will sit on this corner. And then, you know, that's assuming like setting up for the fight. But then say like you have a stagger, you could like walk forward. You could walk forward to go back up to go forward, sorry, right? Like you step up here when they're low on people, when they're 5, you back up and the point's behind you, right? Simple concept, we've been over it a few times. So okay, I'm done. Anyways, so and then this third point, again, the valuable space, right, is right back here, and this health pack over here, like this area. This is all very important space to have, right? Or over here, right? Like these 3 areas are kind of the places where you can see the point and have natural cover, which is why they're valuable. That's kind of like the reason, like I'm telling you this, I'm not saying like you have to play in one of these places. I mean, you should, right? Because they have natural cover and you can see the point. The idea of telling you this is so that you can recognize this in every map, where you can understand where the valuable map space is by recognizing that it has strong LOS and it has natural cover, right? So you can like jiggle this and have a good time, or you could jiggle this and have a good time, right? You can see their spawn, right? You have the health pack over here, right? Jiggle this, right? And this is just kind of playing in your spawn, but it's kind of the idea of playing natural cover is really important for everybody, right? And it can keep you alive to the point where you are taking less resources away from your front line and you are giving less ult charge to the enemy team, right? Like you are very much like getting way more value by playing natural cover than you are swinging wide and taking damage and doing a little bit more, right? But this point in particular, I mean, it's, again, not too crazy, just kind of, you play natural cover, you look to push the cart, back up to go forwards, you know, all that jazz. You can also, something I like to do sometimes, if the cart is here, right, you can kite this way and then go here to flip the map if you have speed, right? So say like their front line is pushing you and their back line's like over here. You can kite with speed and flip the map and maybe get a pick early onto one of these and then it's a 5v4 and you win the game, and that's last fight. So, looking for like rotates and ways to surprise the people you're playing is another very good way to win. Um, that is all I have in regards to hybrid. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me.